Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Rebranded. We come with a new passion, a new want to, Dylan. I mean, I'm pumped up right now. Like, got a TikTok that blew up. Like, we really feel we're on top of the world right now. We rebranded
Hey,
the
Steve,
Rim Report.
look at me, bro. I'm in my parents' basement right now. If I didn't want it, I would not be doing it. That's how
Facts.
bad I want it, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
honestly,
do
Dylan,
it.
I really appreciate about that, you man. You just like attack the day, man. Like, you're all in.
Take after you. I take after you, 100%.
Yeah. But appreciate you all loyal followers. We are back and rebranded. Locking In Podcast is no more. We are officially the Rim Report. And this is the Rim Report podcast on YouTube.
Come on, man. That's hard. That's hard.
So follow us on TikTok
Oh,
at the Rim Report. On YouTube, I guess we're still the Rim Report
gotta change it.
podcast.
yeah.
Those are really the only two that matter, to be honest. But honestly, let's just jump right into it. Let's go
Movers and shakers.
Movers and Shakers. Episode 2. This is our second consecutive week doing this.
Thank goodness.
Let's just go right into it, man. Arizona, Michigan. Nothing changed there. Votes are still pretty close. I was at 1428 to 1408. I think Michigan's still dominating in big ways. 52-point win against LaSalle at home. Took care of Maryland on the road. Arizona still look good too. They held San Diego State to 45 points this week.
It's gross.
Yeah.
I would say the one word I would use for Michigan is eviscerate. They just eviscerate their opponents, bro. Every single time they play a team, they go out there with vengeance on their mind. They're killing it, bro. They are killing it.
Yeah, I would say domination is what I would
Domination.
say.
Good one. Good one.
Iowa State, UConn, Purdue all moved up one. Duke dropped 3 spots after that loss to Texas Tech. Dylan, that's something obviously that was the game of the week this last week. What was your takeaway from that game for the Duke side?
I'm not going to take credit for me saying this because I saw it on Twitter. It reminded me a lot of the Final Four loss, honestly. In control for most of the game. Their role players are playing well. And then their star player starts to flounder a little bit towards the end of the game. And they just fall apart. And they lose they lose a 10, 12, 14-point lead. And a team that's not as good as them come back and win the game. I mean, Texas Tech honestly looked unbelievable. We talked about it last week. They needed a marquee win. They got a marquee win. I mean, this is one of the best wins of the whole season, if not the single best one of the whole season. So, if I'm a Red Raiders fan, I am on top of the world going into this week. Yeah, maybe Duke's not a top tier team. Maybe they're not 1 through 3 anymore, but they're still in a national championship contender level. So I'm not hitting the panic button if I'm John Shire. I think this team is really good. It just did remind me of some old games that we saw last year with them, the Final Four run, for example. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm definitely not hitting the panic button either. I mean, like you said, Texas Tech, a good team,
Yeah.
limited by injuries, and I mean their rotation is basically 6 players.
Yeah.
Like
it is.
Duke should have handled business against them, and they were up double digits on them for most of the game, like you said, and they did just collapse at the end. But I give all the credit to Texas Tech, and I'm talking about, and taking away from that game, it's less about what Duke did wrong and what Texas Tech did right. I mean, like you said, I think what was probably the most disappointing thing about Duke finishing that game was the fact that Cam Boozer could not take over like he had been when literally Texas
I
Tech
agree.
was guarding him with a almost walk on. Like this dude it was number 8, I think it was Graves or Groves or whatever, some white guy, literally has probably not played in weeks. He's not in the rotation. They were forced to put him in because they had 2 guys foul out. And like, man, he just played with a lot of passion. Like he locked him up. I mean, they struggled. He got to the free throw line, but he wasn't hitting his free throws. So,
How about this 6'5", 205 freshman? By the way.
yeah, I mean, that's a bad look for Cam Boozer. I think in general, Duke free throws were very, very skeptical. I mean, as we're talking, I'm gonna look up what their free throws were. I'm pretty sure they were like under 70% maybe.
That's just something that good teams do. Like I can't imagine a coach led by Kelvin Sampson ever shoots under 75% from a free throw line.
59%, 17 for 29.
You said 59.
59%.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't. Honestly, I didn't even know that. That worries me a little bit.
Yeah, and I know one thing we talked about, like you said in the preview of that Duke and Texas Tech game, was who's going to step up from the guard side for them. I mean, Isaiah Evans, 4 points, 1 of 4 from the floor in 30 minutes played.
Yeah,
like that's a dude that like he has no conscious shooting, and like he jacks up tons of shots. Like in that Florida game, he was 0 for 7 before he hit that game winner 3. Like, you know, it didn't cross his mind, and I think that's an example of like where he, you know, a guard stepped up for Duke and hit a shot, and that's why they won that game. I will say though, Caden Boozer looked incredible. His pace and transition is really top tier. I would like to look up his synergy stats on how effective he is in transition. I feel like every time he gets it in transition, he's scoring or creating for someone.
You're right. I have not been the biggest fan of Caden this year, and I think he had a much-needed like big game. If you look at their bench, man, their bench had 7 points, 9 points, 13 points, and 5 points. Like they got some production from their bench. Like that's typically a game you look at and you're like, well, we probably won this game if this is not even including Cam Boozer. But yeah, I don't know, man. Caleb Foster, bro. Like we've talked about it before. I'm not the biggest fan of Caleb Foster, and it seems like he misses the most important free throws every single time he goes to the free throw line. Like if it's an important free throw, I just am like, he's not making the free throw. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and honestly, you know who else did not really have a great game was Patrick Gongba. He did not have a good game. 21 minutes. It always just felt like he was like always on the bad end of a matchup between him and JT Toppin. JT Toppin, I mean, that little pick and roll bounce, they like little pocket pass they throw, and that little lefty floater in the lane. I mean, I feel like he makes it literally 100% of the time.
To mention that fadeaway he had with him out of
my gosh, yeah, that was incredible.
Tough shot. I mean, you just got to live with that if you're Duke. Like you have to live with that shot, you know. Just a tough shot.
All right, let's go to 7 Gonzaga, 12-1 win at Oregon, 91-82. Oregon not having the year that they were expecting to, but still a great road win.
Yeah, no, Oregon's definitely been faltering a little bit. I think they had some preseason votes at the beginning of the year. And I think they're 6-6 now. So, man, I don't want to say hot seat for Dana Altman, but like not looking the best over there in Oregon.
Yeah, I wouldn't say hot seat, but it's definitely not looking. This year is not looking great for them.
Yeah, for Gonzaga, like we talked about it before. Other than the Michigan loss, like if you take the Michigan game out of the equation, like what's separating them from being like on the Arizona Michigan level? You know what I mean? Like they're very similar in terms of like strength of schedule, strength of victory, and also like we just love the roster as it is. Like we love how old they are. We love how well put they are together. They have 2 really dominant front court players that is always a recipe for success at that level. So. Gonzaga looks good. Other than the one game they have, they're a top 4 team in the nation. So
yeah, that loss really hurt them and put them back. I think they were down to like 9. I think after that loss, something like that. And I do agree that I think you can throw them in the same conversation as UConn, Purdue. Like they're in that like one loss. Like I would group them 4 through 7, or actually 4 through 10, because we'll get to that. But anyways, Houston 11-1 at 8. Great neutral site win against Arkansas and New Jersey, 94-85. We talked about this game live. I think, like, man, these freshman guards for both teams, for Arkansas and Houston, but especially Houston, man, Kingston Flemings, man, he is a NBA level talent playing as a freshman, man. He just looks so savvy out there.
A lot of fun to watch these freshman guards go. And I know we didn't talk about it, but Christian Anderson, I mean, a sophomore guard, he looks really good. Kingston Fleming's just another guy in the mix, right? Like another guy in the mix. I will say I love Darius Acuff. I think he is a pro's pro. I'm taking Acuff over him, but like, bro, that doesn't mean like, he's trash. Like I'm looking at him in the 7, 8 to 15 range if I'm drafting Kingston Flemings, that is. But, bro, Acuff is legit. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, a throwback. Lock it in. I'm telling you, lock it in right now. He's legit. I like Acuff a lot.
I agree. I think Acuff is definitely the best guard. The thing I like about Kingston Flemings is I feel like, and this is my own little control. Like I'm gonna call this my own little air quote here. he's got controlled athleticism. I think that's what I like about it. Man, like we talked about, you compared him to John Morant type athleticism with a jumper, and man, like it just feels like, you know, a lot of guys they're athletic or whatever, and like they can, you know, fast break, like, you know, they can easily go off 2 or 1 or whatever. But man, it feels like he's like a strong athleticism. Like, you know, he gets in the lane and he can rise up like 1-2 with some body contact coming on him. Like, I just feel like he's very like controlled when in his jumps, and like, and he, like you said, he's got John Morant level athleticism. So
talk about a system that fits him perfectly. I mean, a controlled system that's, I mean, as good as it gets with Houston, you know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah. So yeah, I think Houston, man, they had that one loss to Tennessee earlier. That's their only loss back in the Players era. And man, like I it's starting to see a trend here of like, you know, kind of one-off like anomaly losses in the Players era, where it was like neutral site, like, you know, anyone can win. And you're starting to see, like we talked about Gonzaga, like they got, you know, waxed by Michigan and they got that one loss. Houston kind of had like a one-off loss to Tennessee in a close game, but man, like dangerous 7 and 8, you know, ranked in the top 8 people. You could argue that Gonzaga and Houston are like probably some of the top teams in the country. You could put them up there against Michigan and Arizona, in my opinion.
I agree. We liked Gonzaga from the beginning, and also Houston was like preseason number 2, and they've lost one tight game to a team. Like, that's still a very good roster, very good schedule.
Let's round out. I guess this would be my final team of like my bracket, I guess you could say. BYU at 10. I think there is a hard line here of going on after this where it's like, hey, like these are the top 10 teams in the country, and there is like no question about it. These guys are in their own tier.
Do I agree with that? Let me see. Yeah, I feel like, are we not giving Vanderbilt enough credit? Just
I don't know. I'll say this.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say, like, you can't tell me Vanderbilt is worth being in that tier, and I won't put them in that tier until I see them play an SEC play. Give me.
There.
Honestly, let me see them go up against South Carolina and Alabama, their first 2 conference games, and I will give you a very clear response on like, hey, like they are in that tier, or hey, they're not in that tier. If they go on the road, beat South Carolina, and then take on Alabama at home and win, yes, they are, and they'd be 15-0 at that point. Like, yes, they are a top 8 team in the country. I mean, I'm looking at their wins right now. Like, nothing's like crazy impressive. Like, you know, they're obviously impressive. Like, you know, we talked about their offense, and like they're like one of the top offensive teams in the country, but you know, they put up crazy numbers. But like, you know, at Memphis, at Wake Forest.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, you look at Wake Forest. So they beat Wake Forest by what, 20, 31
like 30,
points?
yeah.
31 points, yeah. Guess who beat Wake Forest by 2 points? Michigan. Michigan beat Wake Forest by 2 points. Very close again. They almost lost it. So, I mean, there's some comparability there, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, going back to BYU, dude, I feel more confident than ever that my pick for the number 1 NBA draft is legit, bro. Like, I think Demanza is... I think he's him, bro. Like, what has he not done? I mean, he's not the best three-point shooter. We knew that going into the season. But he's proven at the free throw line he's a good player. Like, he's making 75% of his free throws. Just leading this team. They're a top 10 team in the nation. He's leading a top 10 team in the nation in points per game. And not only that, like, he's just a dog. He's just a dog. And his game translates to the next level, which is where I think he separates himself from Cam Boozer a lot. So, yeah, I like this BYU team, man. They have a big 3. They have a true big 3. I like Rob Wright. I like Richie Sanders. And then they have a good, like, center, like, Kiba Keita. Like, you can play around him. Like, he's never going to take too many shots from the offense. He's going to play hard. He's going to be a junkyard dog. He's always a guy that you need a guy like that on the team. And he's like that. So I love the pieces there. I love Young's system. Like, he's up-tempo, a lot of NBA-style play, man. Like, I just can't say enough about this BYU team. I think that Kentucky was my favorite going into the season. I think my next favorite was probably BYU, man. I like this team a lot.
Yeah, I feel like you definitely favor these NBA-style, pro-style teams and pro-style players. I think I lean more towards, you know, when I'm thinking about who's going to be cutting down the net, I'm thinking about, like, hey, these are certified college players, like fourth-year, fifth-year guys who are system guys. Maybe not even the best guys like NBA players. Like, maybe these guys don't have any NBA careers, But like I'm like, hey, like they play together, like they play as a team, and those are the teams I'd kind of lock in on. So anyways, yeah, BYU. I think, like I said, I think that 1 through 10, that is just in a different tier than the rest of these teams. I would take any of those 10 against these next 15 on
Yeah.
any neutral floor. North
Yeah.
Carolina at 12, kind of surprising. Dylan, have we been underestimating this Hubert Davis team? I think we're kind of like not giving them the credit they deserve. I think we kind of been hating on them for a little bit now. Like we've been saying
Yeah.
like they're overrated, like, soft schedule, whatever, whatever. But they've played some good games. They've won some good games.
Have they've won 2 ranked games now. That Ohio State win was not just a regular win either. That's a good team. That's a good win. Yeah, 12 is probably fair for them. I can see them around 12 for the rest of the year. And going into the season, I didn't like them. I think they were preseason 25th, and we had that argument. Well, like, oh, NC State's 26th, and when it's 25th, like all the politics going into it. Well, it looks like they earned it. So they've been good, man. And Trimble coming back, I think that we weren't the biggest fans of Trimble, but like he makes them go. He makes them look a lot better. Again, like there's this theme that I'm seeing in college basketball this year where it's like, if you have a dominant front court, you're just going to be dominant in general. North Carolina, they have a dominant front court. Like, I'm a big fan of Vasar. I think he's a really good player. And I think Caleb Wilson can go too. He's another junkyard dog, like super athletic, like gets you a bucket when you need it, man. Yeah, maybe we were underestimating these guys a little bit. They got something to them.
Yeah, I'll say this too. Georgetown also, not a slight win. They beat Georgetown by 20.
You're right.
I think, they very well could be. They lost by 16 to Michigan State, so I'm not going to say like they very well could be undefeated right now. But they didn't have Seth. They didn't have Seth Trimble. Maybe in another universe they win that game. They could be 12-0 right now, and like we could be talking about them way differently. Being saying like fighting for a top 10 ranking or whatever. But I'll say that East Carolina, Florida State, SMU, Wake Forest, Stanford. Their start to ACC play is very maybe like not like slight, but like it's definitely on the easier side.
For sure.
So they don't play their first ranked game until like it says TBD against Virginia till like the 25th. I would guess is when they're probably going to play that game, and then they play at Georgia Tech, Syracuse versus Duke. So things are going to pick up for them here real quick, but I like this team. I've come around to some of these guards, and like I wasn't big on Seth Trimble, but like you said, seeing him come back against Ohio State, like he looked good, and I think
he did.
What we talked about too with UNC is like they have found like some type of identity without him, and they've been able to kind of like see what other guys bring to the table, and now it's kind of a seamless plug and play with Seth Trimble leading this team now. So excited to see where they go from here. But let's go to we got Nebraska. Anything you want to say on Nebraska at 13, 12-0? Just keep climbing the rankings.
Maybe I'm not a true basketball fan. I haven't watched them at all this year. I watched them a little bit against Illinois, but that was really it. Bro, 12-0. I don't know what else to say, man. Like I said earlier, last episode, Fred Hoiberg really liked this team going into the season. I mean, they passed all of the eye test, I guess. I think the advanced metrics don't love them, but they're 12-0, man. The record speaks for itself.
Yeah, wins versus Oklahoma, Creighton, Wisconsin, and at Illinois. So
that's some tough wins, man.
Wisconsin by 30 at home, Creighton by 21 at home. 3-point win against Illinois. I mean, like you said, I kind of am on the same boat as you. I really haven't watched them that much, but like seeing what I'm seeing about them on social media and stuff, like I definitely think that they're a team to watch come Big Ten play.
Yeah.
Alabama 9-3 at 14, Texas Tech 9-3 at 15, Louisville 10-2 at 16. Who's the best team out of those three? Like, who rank those three teams for me, in your opinion?
I guess by default, I'd go Texas Tech last. I just haven't been the biggest fan of them. I think there's been a lot of preseason bias with them in their rankings. I think the Duke win was unbelievable. They really needed that. But other than that, not the biggest fan of them. Alabama and Louisville is pretty much a toss-up for me. I guess I'd go Alabama just because they have I don't know what the word I'm looking for. They just have the experience of being at the top of the SEC, and I trust that conference. I trust that coach. I just think they by default are maybe a little bit ahead of Louisville, but I mean they're pretty much 1A 1B there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like both those teams a lot. Like we talked about it before. I like both of those teams a lot. So
You think Louisville deserved to drop 5 spots in a 20-point loss on the road at Tennessee, which is one of the hardest places to play in the country?
yeah, I mean Duke only drops 3 spots, for a loss that was maybe worse. I don't know. I guess you can argue that.
Yeah.
Maybe not 5 spots. 5 spots might be a little harsh. Maybe 3 or 4 there.
Yeah. And Texas Tech jumped 4 spots after their win against Duke. And while that was probably one of the best wins of the season, I kind of agree in the same sense. I'm not really optimistic about Texas Tech long term just because of the injuries, man. Like, I think you saw the Achilles heel of them in that game. I think they're being in foul trouble is gonna be tough for them this season. I think. Man, I was actually really disappointed to see what's his name, JT Toppin. Like, he picks up 2 fouls or 3 fouls or something and gets subbed right back in. And that play with the Patrick Gongbo where he like pulled him down or he pushed him down or whatever. And I was like, dude, like you just got subbed in, and you know how important you are to this team, and regardless of whether Gongba pulled him or he pushed him or whatever, he was playing way too aggressive of defense.
Yeah, man.
It just seems like if they can't get that in their mind and they can't play like a team that has a short leash and a short bench, like I just don't. They look like they're like, oh, I got 5 guys behind me waiting to get in. It doesn't matter if I foul. Like,
here's what I'll say: their next game is against Winthrop, then they play Oklahoma State, and then they play Houston. So they have 2 games where they really got to figure out some other pieces. They really got to start experimenting, see how they can be creative in this, like see how they can like find another guy off the bench. You can't play, no pun, you can't play 6 or 7 guys all year. You know what I mean? Like you got to find some other guys that can go for you. So I know the injuries have been tough, but they got to figure out something.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't really looked too much into who the people that are injured for them. So I'll need to look into that and see if they're all season-ending injuries and stuff like that. Kansas at 17. Man, what is the Darren Peterson situation? Like, this has just started to turn into like something like people are just like, what is going on? Like, he comes back, he sits out for a long time, comes back, plays a couple games, nothing, bad, but nothing really impressive either. And then he goes down again with the injury and he's out again. Like, what do you think the conference play will look like for Kansas if they can't get him back?
First of all, I think this is a bigger deal than people are making it. I don't see a ton of people talking about this, and this is a big red flag for me if I'm an NBA GM, just because it's either one of 2 things. Either one, he genuinely is getting hurt and he can't play in these games, which is just an injury concern on the second half of his career, or 2, he's faking these and is like, not necessarily faking, but is just being a drama queen about it, and like that's not somebody you want to draft. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's raising some red flags for me.
That's definitely a hot take. That's a hot take saying that you think he may not be actually hurt.
I don't know if he's necessarily not hurt. I just think maybe they're babying him a little bit, and like if I'm Darren Peterson, then yeah, like maybe I am saving myself a little bit for conference play or like the NBA drafts. I don't want to get hurt too bad and it hurts my stock. So. I don't know. Red flags, I guess. Red flags on Darren Peterson.
Yeah.
In terms of, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but you're getting to a point, like you said, you're waiting for conference play. Like, conference play is about to start. Like, why? If they were gonna wait for conference play, why wouldn't they have just sat him? They brought him back against. When they bring him back? Missouri or NC State?
Oh,
maybe?
yeah. I mean, it was Missouri. Yeah. I mean, he's proven he can go. Like he's proven that he can just be a plug and play guy.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't need a warm up game or something. I think you're cautious if you're the Jayhawks, but yeah, looking forward Big 12 play. I don't know, man. The Big 12 is really good this year. No surprise. Like they're always one of the top conferences, and I think I was high in the Big 10. I think the Big 12 might sneakily be a little bit better than them, but yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't know what the long term prospect looks like for the Jayhawks, and yeah, we'll see.
All right. Arkansas, Tennessee, Illinois, Virginia, Florida, Georgia, USC, Iowa. Which team out of these bottom teams in the AP poll are you thinking hey, like this team has a shot. Like conference play comes around, like I think they could really start to turn things up and really crank the pressure.
Can I go three? Can I go three teams?
Sure, yeah. Give out whatever you want.
I'll give you Arkansas, I'll give you Illinois, and I'll give you Virginia. I think Arkansas because I like that transfer class. I think Calipari's going to figure it out, and I think they have a couple good wins, and their losses are all good losses. You know, they haven't lost to a bad team, so that reason for Arkansas. Illinois, they have a bunch of Europeans, and they just play the right way, man. At the end of the day, Europeans just know how to get it done. So I'm not going to bet against that team because I think they can figure it out. Again, another team that just had some tough losses to some good teams. Like they haven't had a blemish on the schedule really. And then Virginia, dude, I think Ryan Odom is like super underrated, under the radar. They're like the new school of Virginia. They play fast. They shoot a lot of threes. You know, they're still a grit and grind on defense, but they're running. They're playing very fast. The preseason metrics didn't love them, which is why I don't think they're ranked higher in the standings. But they check all the boxes for me, bro. And, you know, they've had a couple of decent wins. I think they need another marquee win to really get them going. But I like Virginia a lot in this spot.
Yeah, I agree. I really love Virginia, and I think especially like in a weak ACC, like you could really start them to see they could definitely be a 25+ win team this year.
Yep.
In year one, which is crazy, but I'll give you one team for me that could see dropping out of the AP poll real soon. Florida, 8-4 right now. I'm scared when SEC play starts that they're gonna struggle early. I think these guards are going to struggle at a new level that we haven't already seen. Like they start the season at Missouri, then Georgia, Tennessee, their first 3 games. Like I'm not starting on the road too, especially with these guards, is not going to be a great first game for them.
Yep.
And then playing 2 ranked teams right after that, that's going to be a stinker for them. I'll say that.
And we can kind of transition to this, I guess. But like, I don't know how, like, conceptually you could ever put Florida ahead of Kentucky. Like, I guess it's just so small and so niche. But like, bro, I mean, they're literally the same exact like strength of schedule, except Kentucky literally just had a top 25 win against St. John's. Like, I don't know how that doesn't. I think there's a ton of preseason bias right now with Florida, and maybe not enough with Kentucky, but. That's all I'll say. I guess.
I agree with you on the Florida part. I don't know if I necessarily agree with you that Kentucky deserves to be more than that. I mean, like I agree, like Florida is definitely overranked right now, but I don't think that necessarily means that Kentucky is underranked.
That's fair.
But yeah, we'll jump straight into that. Kentucky first team out after a win against St. John's, who is also the 4th team out. Do you think Kentucky's turned it around? Like, do you think they are ascending back up, or do you think this is just, hey, we got to win against another struggling team?
They turn it around, Steve. I really do. And I know I've been biased on this team the whole year, but I'm going to keep believing in them. They've had some tough injuries, and I think it was the first time all season we've seen Jalen Lowe and Jaden Quaitons like back into the lineup. They played together for the first time all season. And those are 2 guys that can really go for them. Like, these are 2 guys that they relied on the beginning of the season. They weren't there for them. Mark posted really high on them for the whole season, and they finally get them back. So, I think that they've also had a stroke of unluckiness during this losing streak that I feel like is finally starting to kind of come back to normal. And we talked about this last week. I think their 3-point shooting will kind of progress to the mean. They were shooting 33% from 3 last week. I think that kind of progresses back to 37, 38%. And I think they get going a little bit more. Their schedule has been a little bit more favorable towards them. So I'm high in Kentucky, man. I know I've said it all year. I think next week we come back and we're talking about Kentucky in the top 25. So,
yeah, I'm excited to see where they go from here. Auburn, another team dropped out. I saw something the other day on TikTok, like last night, and I was like, man, like, you know, if we don't finish top half of the SEC, we need to fire Stephen Pearl. Do you think that he is on the hot seat year 1?
Maybe. I don't know. People are so passionate about this stuff, man. I give him a chance, dude.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think it was
a recruiting class in. At least let him get 1 recruiting class in.
Yeah, a little bit of a nepotism hire with the timing and stuff. Like they definitely played the school to get his son a job. But I give him a chance. I definitely think he, apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Like he's got to have some like level of high coaching that you get from your dad. So
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Let me look here if there's any other teams I want to talk about. LSU's a team. They got, what was he, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 team out right now, so 31, 32. Are they a team that you think has potential, maybe like making a March Madness run this year, getting into the tournament?
Yeah, LSU is one of those teams that I've seen a ton on social media, but have not done my due diligence to actually watch in person. They've had one tough loss to Texas Tech. That was bigger loss, 24 points. But other than that, like SMU's a good win, Drake's a good win, DePaul's a decent win.
Yeah.
I think they'll be okay.
I'll say this though. I feel like every year it happens with these low SEC teams that they kind of just schedule some cupcakes, and they run their record up, and they're 10-1 right now. They lost by like 40 to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And other than that, no good wins. Like nothing like that jumps out to me. Yep. Texas A&M, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. I mean, it's crazy to think. I'm saying this about every SEC team. I'm like, oh, look at their first 3 games. Every game is hard for them. Like everybody's first 3 games are hard. It's really gonna come to fruition when SEC play starts.
I agree.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I just
no, you're good. You're good. I don't know.
No, you're good. You're good, Dylan. You're good. Yeah.
Thanks.
So, anything else you got to say about this week's movers and shakers?
I don't think so. I think I'm excited to talk about Kentucky in the top 25 next week, and then I like this. I like this series a lot, man. I enjoy doing it, and we'll see. Here, I'll do something right now. Other than Gonzaga, will we talk about a mid-major team in the top 25 this year? Just so you know, Miami, Ohio is in the mix.
I was just about to say that.
St. Louis is in the mix. Belmont. I saw St. Bonaventure's a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, UCF, if you qualify that, I would.
If I had to pick one of those teams that's receiving votes right now that I'm like, hey, like I could see them possibly sneaking in, it probably would be St. Louis.
Okay.
I forgot his name, the coach that came over from Indiana State, and Robbie Avila. I mean, just guys that maybe I haven't done my due diligence looking at these teams, these mid-major teams, but like that I can fall back on them and just know hey, I'm confident in them and that coaching staff.
Go Utah State, and I'm not backing it up. I'm just saying Utah State.
Okay. Yeah. No, I know nothing about Miami, Ohio, but screw them. I'm not gonna they're definitely never getting in.
Yeah, I agree. Utah State all the way. I'm a new fan.
So, all right. Well, appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for this transition as we change names and we are into a new era. Yep. Dylan, I've actually had this mind-blowing idea. You know what I made? I may send you a Christmas present this year. For those that don't know, I'm in Charleston, South Carolina. Dylan's in Missouri/Chicago. He kind of goes back and forth with his school. Dylan, I may mail you a shirt. I'm going to get some shirts for us with our logo on it.
Hey, Steve, if you got me a shirt, I'd have to wear it every single time we...
I think I would too, honestly. It would probably be the greatest thing ever.
I'd love that, for sure.
So, all right, well, Merry Christmas to those involved in celebrating Christmas. So, yeah, anything left to say, Dill?
Steve, way to be inclusive. I'm done.
All right, we'll see you guys.